Woman gets in car accident, let the story commence. There was a woman called Mary, and she got caught out with that ice suit there. She was driving, she went up a hill, and she started going down the hill. She was like, oh shit! And she sort of gently bumped into a motor on the street. Honestly, it was bumper to bumper. It was like the motors weren't scratched. It was bumper to bumper. It was fuck all. The motor was parked, but a guy opened up the window. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say. I forgot to ask what genre you want. Give me a second. So this can go anyway. Genre: horror, rom-com, thriller, sci-fi, fantasy. I'll stop the poll after 30 seconds. I won't bother keeping it going for a whole minute. Jambowski, Factor Prime. Thanks for the subs. Favourite improv story you've done? I keep thinking about the roast chicken one because I was greeting with laughter. It looks like rom-com, everybody. So this is rom-com. Window goes up, and it's a guy. You just banged into my... And he looked to it, and there was this woman, and he was like... And she went, why don't you shut your... And she looked, and there was this pure hunk. A pure hunk. So she went like that. Right, well, we better exchange numbers then. And they met. They went into the... She went into the building. The close. The tenement close, as you call it. The hallway stairs, the close. And he arrived, and she went, right, so sorry about that. And he went, well, you should have looked where you were going. Well, maybe you should look where you parked your car. Just give me your number. There's my number. Give me your number. There's that. They're kind of acting like they didn't like each other, do you know what I mean? Like that. And then the two of them went like that. So he went back indoors like that. Right, you'll be hearing from my lawyer. She went, what do you think this is? An American court drama? You mean insurance company? He went, whatever. And then he shut the door behind him. But when he shut the door, he was like, oh, wow. And then when he went away, she went like that. You know that way that a woman bites their lip when they fancy a guy? He opened the door and he went, are you alright? Because he saw it going like that. And she went, she thought, I don't want him knowing that I actually fucking fancy him because this is extremely, that'd be embarrassing. And so she went like that. I've got a cold sore and I had to put this stuff, like medical stuff there, but it tastes horrible. What? No, what it was I've got a habit of licking round there. I've had it since I was wee. I used to go like that when I was wee. But then The saliva burns the skin. That makes it itchy, so you keep doing it. I knew somebody who did that, by the way. I knew, like, I had a pal when I was wee who did that. Whole fucking thing was red, just like that, licking it all the time. She said, so I have to put this stuff on it that when it's like battery acid. So when my tongue touches it, it stops me from doing it. But I still can't help it. Do you know what I mean? He said, my sister had that, and my wee brother had that problem and all, as well. I remember that. Listen, I've got medicine here. Do you want to come up? She went, aye, right, well, and she got to the door and she wasn't sure about going into this guy's house, didn't know, but this woman appeared and went, oh, Craig, who's this? And he went, oh, hi, Sally, my wife. This is... And then the woman called Mary, she went... She actually mouthed to Craig. She didn't even know Craig went like that. You didn't tell me you had a wife. And he went like that. So she came in and Sally went like that. So pleased to meet you. Completely oblivious, all happy all the time. Pleased to meet you. Mwah, mwah. Oh, you must come in. Oh, you look dreadfully cold. Oh, why don't you sit down and get your cup of tea? Oh, all that. Yapping away about some kind of Waitrose sort of things. And Craig said to Sally, I was just showing my friend here, Mary, that I've got medicine for... Do you remember I told you about the habit I had with my sister and brother had that? Oh yes, it was an awful habit. Well, I've got some medicine. Oh right, okay, well, want me to get it for you? Oh no, that's quite alright. Went into the kitchen and Mary went like that. What's this all about? I don't even know you. And he said, I've got that medicine. And she said, can I be honest with you? I'll be honest with you. I was doing that because I fancy you. Look. He went, oh, right. And you were trying to hide it. She went, I was awkward. And then she went like that to him, do you fancy me? Just say no, I don't care. And he went, I don't fancy you. I really fancy you. You know, like Simon Cowell, when he says, I didn't like that. I loved it. Do you know what I mean? And Mary went, what one's Simon Cowell again? And he said, you don't know, you don't watch X Factor? She says, I don't have a telly. Sally came out, she was into all Waitrose stuff. So she came out and went like that. You don't watch the television? Same here. I hate the television. It's so stupid. For stupid people. I hate the television. I read books. Oh my god. You know what? What's your name again? Mary. We just must start a book club. And then she just walked away without actually organising it. She just said we must start a book. You know, she's got full ideas. And Mary said to Craig, your wife, she's full of ideas. She's got a head in the clouds. And Craig said, that's why I fell in love with her. She's such a dreamer. She dreamed the dream of us, and I believed in that dream. But now it's turned into a nightmare. And I need out of this nightmare. And Mary said, I'm a wee bit of a nightmare myself, you know what I mean? Mary went like that, I'm a wee bit of a nightmare myself, man. Not a bit nice, you know what I mean? Wee bit of a nightmare, you know? And Craig went, and Mary went, what's that? And he wanted to hide how much he fancied Mary. So he had to make an excuse for what that was. Because he was alright with showing her that he fancied her a bit, but not that much. Because that was kind of lusty. And no just, oh, I've taken a bit of a fancy to her. It's a bit lusty. It was a bit carry on laughing. And they weren't there yet. Eventually that might happen. Eventually they might be like that with each other. But to be like that at this stage, it's too much. So he tried to hide it. And Mary went, what's that you're doing? He went, I've just remembered the price that a plumber has quoted me. It just popped in my head. The plumber came yesterday and quoted us a price. So I'm just thinking about it and I'm like, don't fucking paying that, man. No fucking paying that. Just then Sally came in and she went, plumber? I don't remember us getting a plumber. And Craig couldn't take it. It was just all a bit too much. So he stood up because he was sitting down at that point. He was actually sitting on the ground. He stood up and he just went like that. He started running. He started running like fuck. But the thing is, see, because it was icy outside, he was running on the spot. You know, like a cartoon character. You know that way. You know that sound. Like that. And Mary came down and went like that. Stop it! And slapped him. But he just sort of span about. No. And see, because it was sliding, there was hardly any friction, so he just kept going like that. And see, because he kept going so fast, he turned into a kind of gyroscope. That, in combination with the spinning, had a gyroscopic effect. And Mary, who I haven't said was actually a scientist, said, wait a minute. And she pushed Craig Eyre. And he was leaning like that. Right? There's the ground. He was like that. Yet he wasn't falling air. He was spinning around and going like that. Yet he wouldn't fall air. Because of the centrifugal thingamabob. And she went like that. No fucking way. Fast forward a year. Craig, Mary and Sally all got into business together. With a spinneroo. It's a device that spins you so that you don't fall on the ice. It spins you. You never fall. And then somebody came along and said, actually, you can do this without use of this machine to spin you first. And actually had a technique. Fucked the whole business up, but it did get to people. It's a technique. So, this is, and I run about why everybody, this is actually an idea that I'm giving you and it actually works. It actually works. So see out there in the ice, if you do a really, really fast spin around and around and around, you don't actually fall air. Do you know what you don't know what I'm talking about? I can show you, this is unbelievable. What's it called again? Gyroscope. What's this?
A string provides a simple method to spin the wheel.
Look at that fucking thing. Look at it. It's on a string.
Lift the gyro.
Look at that. Doesn't it fire?
To the momentum
Look at that!
stone flying through the air has. The attempt hopes will make an aircraft special connect.
It doesn't fire.
If manufacturing technology related videos can be found at our website.
Craig, Mary and Sally put every penny they had into that business, and then some arsehole comes along in the name of fucking socialism, which is fine, but in the name of socialism says, no, this idea must go to everybody for free, right? And they started calling like Mary, Craig and Sally Big Pharma. Like Big Pharma. Like you're keeping all that information to yourself instead of releasing it to everybody to save people, help people, and you're keeping it to yourself for profit. And Mary was the first one to break for it. She went, you're right. I have listened and I have U-turned and you're right. And she was hailed as like, you know, like being like Anakin, Darth Vader turning back to Anakin. Well done. You've went back to the light side of the Force. Craig went, I better get out the gates or no, I better fucking go out. So he went like that. Yes, almost right away a press release. Yes, there is a way to do this for free and we were wrong. Sally. She tried to do it, but she was fucked. She was actually lumped with all the debt. They'd gone to some amount of debt creating this fucking device. She got lumped with all the debt. She was last out. She got left with it all. So Sally's in a bad way, everybody. Craig and Mary, they fucked off. They were together for about a year, then they broke up. Sally, I tell you what she's up to right now. She's sitting in that house by herself and she's absolutely devastated. So please give generously. The end. The whole thing's devastated her. I'm sorry, everybody. No stories have got a happy ending. Alright? You might be thinking, where's the comedy? Rom-com. Comedy of errors. The comedy of life. Did you know that actually in ancient Greek, the word comedy translates as tragedy? Danny Boyle, thanks for the sub. Glad you liked the book. Dave does my dad and Fivemouth. Dadok. Tank. Jambowski. Pickle, thanks for the subs. Watching you 10 months watching your hairline recede. Enjoyed it every minute. Keep up. Keep it up. It's got to go up and up and up. Look at that fucking vein, man. Shit. That's a vein now. I've got a new game for you, everybody. Little Inferno. Let's not forget, you'll never get a fucking, you'll very rarely get a comedy at the Oscars. It's sometimes interesting to read funny wee things, the actual definition of a word. It's quite, like, look, comedy is a genre of fiction consisting of discourses or works intended to be humorous or amusing by inducing laughter. Like when you read something like that, inducing laughter. So we're trying to induce The biological movement of laughter. That's the intention here. Humorous. Humour. Humour is the tendency of experiences to provoke laughter and provide amusement. The term derives from the humoral medicine of the ancient Greeks, which taught that the balance of fluids in the human body, known as humours, controlled health and emotion. How about that? There you are. Is the tendency of experiences to provoke laughter and provide amusement. There you go. Oh, look, there's Boris Yeltsin and Bill Clinton enjoying a joke in spite of the language differences. Ah. He's doing that fucking Life of Brian thing. He's doing that Life of Brian thing, man. He's having to be like, look. He's in a Bradley Walsh, man. He's trying to burst it laughing at him, man. Despite, not in spite. Right. Incontinentia buttocks. Pure Ghost, thanks for the sub. I don't think biggest dickus. You seen that? Biggest dickus. Is Improv finished? It finished really well. That's a kind of wee funny bit where he's sort of smiling, but I just... Apparently the extras didn't know the jokes and reactions were real. Mohair says, apparently the extras didn't know the jokes and reactions were real. Mohair, the extras didn't know that the jokes were real. Pure Ghost, Lumsden, thanks for the subs. How did the extras not know that the jokes were real? I'm not sure if I believe that, to be honest, but I've heard that a lot. So some of the other actors there, they didn't think that was a real joke. They thought it was a non-real joke. Was this actually a real joke then? I wasn't told it was a real joke. I thought it was